Reports are a free England Liverpool Abontinsu Eba is that Bradley Barcola now PSG Fono have agreed a deal in principle with Liverpool for the transfer of Abrantiano. And I'll bring you all those updates here on side with me, Joshua Holo. But before we go into the details, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on the post notifications. All button be after you click on the bell notification. Me also Debbie I drop a video. You're one of the first people to get it. Now you did football on home come up brave. But let's go straight to the point because Bradley Barcola top of the issues on Nyema Mede Bremo right about now on the transfer stories. You know, Bradley Barcola is very close to his switch from team my friend Air PSG to team my friend Air Liverpool. Over the past few weeks, there had been conversations between the two clubs about the player. But the valuation was what was the problem. PSG Forecast said the player is worth £145 million. Liverpool Forecast said Omonti Bonoso. And then there was Yembra between them. But now no, a fee has been agreed in principle, which means say whatever happens, come what may, if the player has to move from PSG to Liverpool, no, Sika Liverpool phone be for player is £120 million. And initially, no, Liverpool didn't want to pay the 145 because to them, no, it didn't make financial sense. Quote and unquote, because Osha Omo spending Sika Bebre on Abranti friend Alexander Isak, and he is currently the transfer record. Liverpool didn't think say it was prudent enough for them to spend that amount on the player to equal the amount they spent for Bradley Barcola. So that was where the contentions were, and that was how we saw the Liverpool were not agreeing immediately to that particular deal. But as we speak right now, no, we are going to see that deal being completed between the two clubs. I think it's good news for team my friend Air Liverpool because they want to bring Bradley Barcola in to also come and give them some depth in those attacking wide options. Which is see now Liverpool, they have Cody Gakpo on their books, they have Rio Ngomo Hanso on their books. Then they went to bring a branch a friend Air Victor Munoz from Osasuna. He's a new signing now. Then they now are going to get a branch a friend Air Bradley Barcola and possibly a branch a friend Air Yankuba Mente from Brighton and Hove Albion. There are conversations ongoing between Liverpool and Brighton for the player. So these are the attacking options that Liverpool they want to bring in. But you see, let's try and understand something. I was thinking about it in one way and asking myself, say, after Abranti friend Mohamed Salah free Liverpool, no, Liverpool have not been able to replace him. That's the first question. Is Bradley Barcola coming in to replace Mohamed Salah? Because one of the things that Bradley Barcola can Liverpool for team is the pace that he has. You watch him at the FIFA World Cup, no, in the semi-final, Didier Deschamps trusted him enough and threw him into that game against Spain, and he started. That was a very confident move from Didier Deschamps. Maybe when you look at the players' overall performance for Paris Saint-Germain last season, no, it wasn't really spectacular. But 2 years left on his contract, and I know so I think that was one of the main reasons why PSG wanted to really make a lot of money on him, because if he was in the last year of his contract, maybe he could have forced a move out. But if he doesn't move this particular window, he stays in PSG. He's able to at least play one full season, and then when he enters into the last year of his contract, no, negotiations, no, and see how he can leave. But now that the fee has been agreed on, I'm pretty sure say the deal will go through. But he comes into Liverpool, they have big shoes to fill. And I'm pretty sure, again, say, once he comes in, Cody Gakpo now, he's being linked to either Manchester City or Tottenham Hotspur. No, he may move to one of those teams. Yes, look at Cody Gakpo. The door will open for him to go, but he was very important for Liverpool in that game against Newcastle over the weekend. And you saw the goal he scored, how he received the ball from Ryan Gravenberch, and there was space for him. Then he shot at goal into that far post. And I think, look, Cody Gakpo is a very important player for Liverpool, and then also Cody Gakpo, Yankuba Mente, there will be every opportunity for Brandon to leave. Whether he goes to Man City or he goes to Tottenham Hotspur, wherever he goes, I think he's going to be a star performer. I would want him to go to Team Ayefreno, Tottenham Hotspur, because maybe he adds to the attacking options. He brings some competitiveness in there, and he helps Roberto De Zerbi to get a prolific, goal poacher. Maybe not a center forward, but baby you can trust him to enter the box, cut in and shoot and score. You can also trust him to receive the ball under pressure, move forward into space, and get a shot at goal. So he's that daring, adventurous forward who can also be a goal poacher for Roberto De Zerbi. Maybe you think about Man City side, no, I don't really know what they want to do, but I'm pretty sure Man City are also thinking about bringing in one attacking player before the window closes. It will keep our eyes over there and see what happens between PSG and Liverpool, and whether that move of Bradley Barcola would necessitate a movement of Abrante Efene Koligapo away from team Efene Air Liverpool. Now, Chelsea for goalkeeping situation, no, I have a very interesting statistic to show you between Abrante Efene Air Diogo Costa as well as Emiliano Martinez. Now, for all Chelsea fans who were following the social media conversations about Emiliano Martinez, no, what do you think? Now, drop it in the comments. Should Chelsea go for Emiliano Martinez? Chelsea fans are torn in two. I think the assertion has been very clear that Robert Sanchez cannot help us to get what we require, which is to compete at the top four. You saw the goals that will concede against Fulham, and you ask yourself, this particular goalkeeper, what does he offer Chelsea Football Club at this stage? The front three of Chelsea is very sharp, but the goalkeeping department, there's a problem over there. Chelsea was initially linked to Abrante Efene Diogo Costa. And that Chelsea for all they needed to do was trigger that 65 million euros release clause for Abrante. And it came out later, said, Chelsea were not following the player. Chelsea were not following the goalkeeper. And I was surprised that at this point, we needed to go for him. If for nothing at all, he's that goalkeeper. When you watch him, especially at the World Cup for Portugal, his awareness is high. Save rate was through, and if you look at his numbers for FC Porto last season, he played 33 games, saves 60 saves, and a save percentage of 80%. Because when you look at the number of saves or the number of shots he would have faced each game, that's what will determine the number of the save percentage over there. Then he kept 21 clean sheets, and he's just 26 years old. Now, when they compare Emiliano Martinez, yes, he is Premier League proven. Obama Aston Villa, but and then say Marco Bizot and Aston Villa, and they have Zion Suzuki or completing a move from team my friend Air Parma in Italy into the Premier League to play for Aston Villa, and they are going to play in Europe. I don't think Zion Suzuki would want to be on the bench for long. He's going to give Marco Bizot some competition. Until when you have Emiliano Martinez also in that team at this point, it looks like he's surplus to requirements. And in fact, yesterday he had no problem joining Chelsea Football Club in terms of the conversations initial conversations that I'm having with the agents, the representatives. The player wants to go. So now Chelsea but look at his statistics: 32 games, 96 saves, a percentage of 71, 7 clean sheets, and 33 years old. Now, with this is the introduction of Abrante Efene and Mike Penders. Look, Mike Penders is that goalkeeper that I think Chelsea Football Club should be trusting at this point. Because now, Robert Sanchez is not going to be the one. So, automatically, you want to bring Mike Penders to come and keep. He is 21 years old. But let's look at something. He made 52 total appearances last season for team my friend Strasbourg. He kept 12 clean sheets. Right? Now, in the League One domestic, he played 33 games. He kept 8 clean sheets. He conceded 47 goals, but his pass completion was 86%. And that is a very important statistic. I think it's very key to the conversation of Xabi Alonso's tactics and the Opeso Warriors this season. And that is why I think Mike Penders, yes, maybe he's too young, but I just use his case study to compare to Abrante Efene and Peter Cech. When Peter Cech joined Chelsea in 2005, thereabout, he was just 22 years old. And when he came into that team, he faced competition with Abrante Efene and Carlo Cudicini. Now, Jose Mourinho decided to trust Peter Cech, even though Carlo Cudicini had kept very well for Chelsea under Claudio Ranieri. So you look at it very carefully. This is a point where Xabi Alonso needs to make a decision. Trust Mike Penders, let him keep, and maybe you could get some good performances from him based off of what he has done at RC Strasbourg last season. Otherwise, Sauka go for goalkeeper for Badia. Maybe you want to go for Emi Martinez on Danche. He'll give some guidance to Mike Penders. Then from next season, Mike Penders becomes the standout goalkeeper, the number 1 for Chelsea Football Club. So, you not sign Martinez on a long-term contract. 33 years old, when you need, about 1 year is enough. Mike Penders looks at him, he learns from him, and he gets into the group for next season. Then maybe Ombema Mike Penders, add that for more of the FA Cups, Carabao Cups. Then he gets some experience over there in the Premier League. Because at this point, he's not Premier League proven. That's the thing. Emi Martinez is Premier League proven. So if Chelsea needs to take the gamble, I think this should be the direction. Bring Emi Martinez for 1 season, then let Mike Penders learn from him, give him that experience that he's gotten from the Premier League at Aston Villa. Then from next season, Mike Penders, we trust him fully to go all out and be the standout goalkeeper for Chelsea Football Club. Right? I think that should be it. Because when you look at Chelsea, look, if we decide to go for Diogo Costa, he is 26 years old. He can be that goalkeeper who keeps for Chelsea for the next 4 years. Or maybe even 5 years straight. But number one, he's not Premier League proven. So that's the question. And that's the thing that I'm pretty sure say internally the board combined with Xabi Alonso, sporting directors, will be looking at. They would want someone who comes in and and they may get that from Emiliano Martinez. But look at Emiliano Martinez, sometimes what Tija Kakrao, Tija, the performance, sometimes the Tija performances are there. Tija performances sometimes or Tibinu Ejebi. Those kind of performances, no, sometimes because Chelsea needs to make a decision now. Go for one goalkeeper who you think can do for you. Mike Penders, maybe it's still early for him. But I was even saying that if Chelsea would trust him a bit, you never know what could happen. But that's the thing. If Chelsea trusts him now and he cannot face the pressure, it means we would have to go for another goalkeeper. So maybe getting into the market and going for a goalkeeper, Chelsea have to do it. But me, I can't Chelsea for no encofa a branch here, friend Diogo Costa from FC Porto. Bring him in. He gives us a number of years. So I don't know what you think. Chelsea fans, drop your comments. Let me know what you think about Chelsea for goalkeeping situation right now. Because a decision has to be made. We are all of the views. Robert Sanchez, there, Chale Zuku, Mark Claire, Mefe, Jame, Claire. Then we get one goalkeeper who can be a good shot stopper, but also can be a sweeper. We would have gotten that in Mike Penders. But Mike Penders, no, you see, is too young. Do you think Mike Penders is too young? But like I've said, I really think, say, look, it's a very dicey situation, but we'll see how that pans out. Because, guys, Aston Villa have completed the signing of a brand here, your friend Nicolas Jackson from Chelsea Football Club. £65 million. Now, there's a scoop over there. I need to give it to you. Nicolas Jackson, when he was at Chelsea Football Club, no, I think he didn't do so bad. Look, one of those players who came into Chelsea Football Club and really demonstrated that he has something with him that Chelsea needed was Nicolas Jackson. In 65 appearances for team, no, he scored 24 goals. And I'm pretty sure that at the time, an free Chelsea Yakobo loan for Bayern Munich, no, he had no idea that he would find his way back into that Chelsea team because the relationship between himself and Enzo Maresca at the time was fractured. And all Kwakobo team, my friend Bayern Munich, no, there were a couple of clauses in that contract that he was signing. It was initial loan move of 16.5 million euros with a potential 65 million euros conditional buy. And now Yebisa Bayern for President Uli Hoeneß about this particular structure of the deal. And he was saying that 65 million euros was going to be triggered if Sir Nicolas Jackson had played 40 games. He had started 40 games for team my friend at Bayern Munich. But when you look at his time at Bayern, no, he started only 13 games. So that was the reason why that particular condition could not be triggered. And now that it could not be triggered, you realize that Chelsea have still managed to bring the player back and are going to sell it for £65 million. While Brown for, I think, £30 million. So, creative business. At the end, he ended up scoring, I think, 7 goals for team my friend Air Bayern. That was an experience for him. But you look at Nicolas Jackson in totality. He has played for Villarreal, came to play for Chelsea, and now is going back to his coach, Villarreal in Unai Emery. And I think that is the reason why he's going to my friend Aston Villa. Because he's going to play for a very familiar manager that he knows already. And when you look at his time at Villarreal, Unai Emery was the one who converted him into a centre forward. Ebane say, let's understand how to run in behind defenders. Let's get our positional awareness in the penalty box. Let's find a way to attack the box. Let's know the timing to get into the box, get into certain positions. All of these things were given to him by a branch friend, Unai Emery. And I'm pretty sure that that's the reason why the reunion is happening. So when you see him moving to Aston Villa, it's not for any reason at all. And Chelsea for another smart piece of business. Because £65 million, they have managed to get him to go to a manager who believes in him, has worked with him before, and can get the best out of him, knowing very well that he's the one who converted him into a centre forward. And now he will give Aston Villa for a lot of options going into Europe, going to play the Champions League. Of course, again, because of that transfer, and then Oli Watkins so every team my friend Aston Villa or Kwakusina Kain Ama Al Hilal for nothing less than £50 million. Good business for Aston Villa. Into the Chelsea Football Club, that business that they have done, super impressive. Super impressive. And Bluco again, kudos to Bluco management, But again, I think the credit needs to go to team my friend Aston Villa, noticing that there's still some worth in Nicholas Jackson and they can get that from him or Babisina Kain or Aston Villa. And I think, look, in terms of getting the best out of players, Unai Emery is that coach that you can trust. And now, maybe a lot depends on how he manages to put the team together. Because then he's trying to also go for Rafael Leao. Rafael Leao was linked to, I think, was it Fenerbahce? But Aston Villa are trying to broker a deal for the player. And it could be a £6 million loan move with a 36 million obligation to buy. Into total, will come to 42.8 million pounds. This is according to Sky Sports in Italy. And I'm pretty sure, Leao, if he's able to move into the Premier League, then he also goes to add some squad depth in the forward line. Now, Aston Villa, because if you watch Aston Villa over the weekend, when they played my friend Brighton and Hove Albion and they lost 4-0, you get to understand that they need to do a lot more buys. They need to reinforce their team because Europe and they've lost Morgan Rogers in this particular window. And now that they have lost Oli Watkins, they would have to do maybe double and get the team to gel together with Emiliano Buendia and Co, who are still around, who can still help Aston Villa to be very competitive. And we wish Nicholas Jackson all the best. He did his best at Chelsea Football Club. Maybe at this point he needed to move, get a new experience now, and wanted to come back into his original groove. And I wish him all the best. Guys, this has been Onside with me, Joshua Holotuna. I'll come your way later in the day with more updates on the transfer market. But until I come your way again, I'll see you in the next one.